Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a really cool electrical puzzle, one that honestly seems to completely break the rules of how we think wires should work. So, here's the big question. A simple piece of wire. We all know that's a short circuit. But what if you take that exact same wire and just wind it up into a coil? I mean, it's still just wire, right? So, why isn't that a short circuit too? You might think it is, but you'd be wrong.
Okay, so let's look at the experiment that got this whole thing started. On the left, you've got your standard setup, a straight wire connected in parallel with a light bulb. And boom, the bulb goes out. Total short circuit, just like we'd expect. But now look at the right. We swap that straight wire for a coil, and the bulb just dims. It doesn't short out at all. So what gives? It's the same kind of wire.
And right there, we've got ourselves a real electrical puzzle. Because on the surface, this makes absolutely no sense. A coil is just a long piece of wire. So why on earth isn't it behaving like one?
All right, let's play detective here. What's the most obvious suspect? Well, it's got to be resistance, right? I mean, a coil is a long piece of wire, much longer than the straight piece, so it must have more resistance. That seems like a perfectly logical explanation.
Okay, so first up, let's check this straight wire. We put the multimeter on it and, yep, we get a reading of 0.2 ohms. That's next to nothing, basically zero resistance, which, of course, is why it's a short circuit. No surprise there.
And now for the moment of truth, the coil. We hook up the multimeter, measure its resistance, and wait, what? It's also 0.2 ohms, exactly the same. So our trusty multimeter is telling us that this coil should be a short circuit, just like the straight wire.
And this, right here, is the heart of the mystery. We're staring at a total contradiction. The multimeter says, hey, this is a short circuit. But the experiment with that glowing light bulb says, nope, it's not. So what is going on?
Okay, so it's pretty clear now that simple resistance was a total red herring, a dead end. That's not the answer. The real explanation has to be something else, some hidden property that our simple multimeter just isn't designed to see.
So let's bring in the real hero of this story, a little something called inductance. This is the secret superpower that a wire gets when you wind it into a coil. Inductance is all about the coil's ability to store energy. But it doesn't store it as heat like a resistor does. No, it stores it in a magnetic field that it creates all around itself. So how does this actually work? How does the coil fight back? Well, it's a cool four-step process. First, current starts flowing into the coil. As it does, step 2, it generates a magnetic field. Now here's the magic trick. Step 3, as that magnetic field builds up and changes, it actually creates an opposing voltage right back in the coil itself. And that brings us to step 4. This opposing voltage, which we call back EMF, literally pushes back against the original current, trying to stop it.
So there it is, the coil's secret property. This is the key that unlocks the whole puzzle, and it's a world away from the simple resistance we measured at the start.
Now, this is probably the single most important detail in this entire explainer, so listen up. This pushing back force, this back EMF, only happens when the current is changing. If you have a steady, unchanging DC current, like from a battery, the magnetic field is stable and there's no fight. But, and this is the kicker, the power supply in that original experiment wasn't a steady DC source. It was putting out a pulsating current, one that was constantly changing. And this opposition to change in current has a special name. It's called inductive reactance. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is just as AC resistance. It does a similar job to regular resistance. It opposes current, and it's even measured in the same unit, ohms. It's just an opposition that our DC multimeter couldn't see. So you might be asking, what determines how much of this reactance a coil actually has? Well, it really boils down to just two things. First, the inductance of the coil itself. That's a measure of how good it is at creating that magnetic field. And second, the frequency of the current, how fast that current is changing. The higher the frequency, the harder the coil pushes back. Simple as that.
And that brings us right to the final piece of our puzzle. It turns out frequency is the key to the whole thing.
Okay, let's look at the evidence. The original experiment noted that the power supply was pulsating at a frequency of 12,000 hertz. That's pretty fast. Then, using a special meter, the inductance of the coil was measured at 0.15 millihenries. With these two numbers, we have everything we need to crack the case. And when you take those two numbers, the frequency and the inductance, and plug them into the formula for inductive reactance, you get this, 11.3 ohms. Now that is a whole different story from the 0.2 ohms our multimeter showed us.
11 ohms is definitely not a short circuit.
So this really brings it all home. This one little coil has two completely different personalities. To a steady DC current, it's a 0.2 ohm short circuit. It barely puts up a fight. But to that high-frequency 12,000 hertz pulsating current, it acts like an 11 ohm resistor. And that is why the light bulb only dimmed instead of going out.
And there you have it. Mystery solved. The reason a coil isn't a short circuit has nothing to do with its simple resistance. It's all about its inductance and the reactance it creates when the current starts to change. So I'll leave you with this final thought. We just saw how this tiny little coil can create over 11 ohms of opposition. Now just try to imagine the incredible opposition generated by the massive coils inside a power transformer. You know, the ones with thousands and thousands of turns of wire. This very principle, this AC resistance, is what makes our entire electrical grid work. Pretty amazing, right? Thanks for joining me.